Thank you, Chairman, and thank the ranking member, and I thank General Bondi for being here today. And I want to pay you a compliment to begin because you speak with such forceful clarity. It's very nice to hear exactly where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and how important it is to uphold the laws of this country. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Senator.
I wanted to point out the ATF's National Tracing Center, which is in West Virginia, is the only one of its kind to trace U.S. and foreign manufactured firearms. The facility provides critical information that helps solve crimes, detect trafficking, and track the movement of crime-related firearms. In 2024, that National Tracing Center processed more than 600,000 requests. I just want to make certain that in the budget, that there is enough in the budget to meet the demands and that these critical services can be sustained with the budget requests that you've made.
Another critical point is that the workload of this facility has grown dramatically over the years. With more than 600,000 requests in a single year, the demand on its resources is enormous. This raises legitimate questions about whether the allocated budget is sufficient to keep the center functioning at its best. The concern expressed in the hearing was not just about maintaining current operations, but ensuring that the center can continue to expand and adapt to growing challenges. Gun trafficking and crime are not static problems. They evolve with time, technology, and international dynamics. Adequate funding ensures the center has the personnel, technology, and infrastructure needed to meet these demands head-on.
Senator, our budget continues to fully fund the National Tracing Center. I will personally make sure that that is funded. It will continue to be operated by ATF as well, and it does such important work. Even in my years in a courtroom, they do amazing work. I've seen the work they do firsthand, and I would also, in all my spare time, I would love to visit that center.
That would be great.
I really want to visit that center and see what we can do also to enhance it and work with you on that. It's so important. You know, these are issues that cross party lines. I mean, this is what every American in our country, we should be working together on, and I'm glad Senator Van Hollen has stayed. I know others have other committee meetings, but he stayed here and listened to this. You know, this tracing work helps every American, Democrat and Republican, victims, all victims across every state alike, and it's such important work, and you have been a true advocate for it for your state, and thank you for that, Senator.
Thank you, and I look forward to having you visit. That would be a wonderful experience. Good to see it firsthand. I am a little bit concerned about the ATF proposed merger with DEA. I'm not going to ask a question on that so much, but we have received a lot of concern from constituents if that would dilute any of the different functions that each one of those does. Also, on the HIDTA task force, there's a proposal to move that over from ONDCP to DOJ. Oh, well, Maryland, we share a HIDTA task force out of the Baltimore region into the Panhandle. We have one in southern West Virginia. This is critical for our area, the coordination of resources.
I got it.
How are you seeing that in terms of bringing it? I know it's been proposed in the past. What's your perspective on bringing HIDTA within the DOJ?
Yeah,
However, the concerns surrounding this merger are just as significant. Critics fear that merging the ATF into the DEA could dilute the unique strengths and functions of each agency. The ATF has specialized expertise in firearms tracing, regulation, and enforcement, while the DEA has its own highly focused mission of combating drug trafficking and dismantling narcotics networks. Each of these agencies has developed institutional knowledge and operational strategies that could risk being overshadowed or lost if the merger is not handled with care. Communities worry that by trying to combine them, the government may unintentionally weaken their ability to target crime effectively. During the discussions, one of the most important points raised was the idea that change is never easy, and it often comes with resistance. People who rely on these agencies, whether state and local law enforcement partners or citizens affected by crime, want reassurance that the merger will not diminish effectiveness. General Bondi responded by highlighting that the goal is not to strip away the ATF responsibilities, but rather to free up its agents to do the work they originally signed up for. She painted a clear picture of agents out in the field, arresting criminals and intercepting illegal firearms instead of spending time knocking on the doors of lawful gun owners, or being buried under layers of bureaucratic procedures. This idea of cutting bureaucracy resonates strongly because it suggests a return to practical, results-driven law enforcement. The merger is framed as a way to put more boots on the ground, creating a stronger front line against crime. If implemented successfully, agents from both agencies could work side by side more seamlessly, pooling resources and intelligence to fight against the powerful and well-funded criminal networks that thrive on the overlap between drug trafficking and gun violence.
Yeah, it will go under Office of Justice Programs, OJP, but it will continue to help Americans. I don't think you were here when we spoke about it earlier, but it transfers $196 million to the HIDTA areas, and I will do everything in my power to be sure that those areas and those local law enforcement officers are funded. And I see why people are concerned to go back to the ATF-DEA merger. Change is hard. And what we want to do with ATF, Senator, we want to put them back on the streets. Instead of going to the homes of lawful gun owners in the middle of the night, we want them to be out arresting the bad guys for illegal firearms. We're doing away with the bureaucracy at the top. It's being streamlined, but ATF will go back to its core function. Those agents will be on the street going after the guns, the drugs, working hand in hand with DEA, and they will continue to do great work. And I frankly think they're excited to be out there doing cops work, what they signed up to do.
Right. Well, we'll see how that evolves, and I appreciate your response there. Hazleton is also in my district, which is a very large prison with over 3,000 inmates. They've had some issues out there, big issues out there, allegations of, with staff shortages, gross mismanagement, abuse, cover-up, falsifying documents. I'm sure you're tracking these issues. I do want to compliment the president on his appointment of William Marshall, a West Virginian, former state trooper from the state of West Virginia. He's going to do a fantastic job. So thank you.
One of the most important developments highlighted during the discussion was the appointment of William Marshall as the new director of the Bureau of Prisons. A former state trooper from West Virginia, Marshall carries with him not only experience in law enforcement, but also a reputation for integrity and commitment. The senator's confidence in this appointment speaks volumes, describing him as a strong advocate who has already begun showing responsiveness to long-standing issues. The expectation is that his leadership could bring a much-needed turnaround to Hazleton and similar facilities that have suffered from neglect and mismanagement. Strong leadership matters in corrections because the system operates under constant pressure, balancing the need for order and discipline with respect for human rights and lawful procedures. The situation at Hazleton illustrates how deeply interconnected the problems of prisons are with broader societal concerns. Staff shortages, for example, are not just a logistical issue. They create dangerous environments where officers are overworked, inmates are inadequately supervised, and opportunities for misconduct increase. This can spiral into violence, abuse, and cover-ups, all of which have been reported at Hazleton. When oversight is weak, misconduct can flourish unchecked, damaging the credibility of the system as a whole. This is why the appointment of an effective leader like Marshall carries such weight. It signals a possible shift toward accountability and reform. Another key point raised is that these problems have persisted across multiple administrations. That means they cannot be dismissed as temporary failures tied to one political party or leader. Instead, they represent structural weaknesses in the prison system that require long-term solutions. The senator's acknowledgement of this continuity underscores the need for consistent attention and reform, regardless of who holds office. By putting the issue on the radar in such a public way, he reinforces that Hazleton's challenges are not to be ignored or brushed aside.
So thank you for bringing in such a strong advocate. He's already been very responsive to us on Hazleton, which has had kind of chronic issues throughout the last several years, regardless of what administration it's been. So I want to put that on your radar screen. And lastly, I will say I've been a big supporter of the Violence Against Women Act. I'm proud of the work that we've championed here on the Appropriations Committee for this. it's really sad when you think of what happens in families sometimes, and the proliferation of violence is extremely concerning to me. I've worked in this area for a long time, so I just wanted to let you know my passion in this area. And again, thank you for being here, and thank you all.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for letting us steal Bill Marshall. I think all of you will think the world of him, our new Director of Bureau of Prisons.